Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the Swanky Cat Productions channel. My name is Ben. That is my 2021 Tenere 700 back there, and I've got the sled in the garage that we'll be going to take a look at once we get my new GPS set up here. I've got quite a few questions over the years about how I mount my GPS both to my bikes and to my sleds, and it's a little bit of a kind of unorthodox way. I don't know anybody else out there that is doing this. But I kind of like it because it makes it a little bit more universal and you have more mounts available. So we'll kind of get into what I did with my old GPS, which is right here. I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. I'm actually going to try to cut this mount off of here. So what this actually is the back door off of a GoPro back door with a mount on it. And this is something you can special order on Amazon. I can find a link and put it down in the description if you guys want to purchase this. This is kind of a weird way to do things, but again, it's just kind of what works for me, and it's what I like the best. So basically what I did was just kind of cut around the section here that you see. The rest of the door is obviously removed. This is the only part we need. And then I've got that VHB taped to the back here. And I can put a link for this stuff down in the description too. This stuff is really sticky. Basically just a double-sided tape, but there's foam between the two sticky sides of it. So this stuff is pretty cool. The only thing that is not cool about it is trying to remove it. This is going to be kind of a pain in the butt, and I'm not really sure how this is going to go. I might have to cut up another back door to make this work, but I'm at least going to try to remove this, and we'll see how that goes. So this is my old GPS. I bought this, I think, when I was 18 years old. I am now like 30 and a half. Geez, I'm gonna be 31 in a couple months. So this is a super old GPS. Obviously it's an automotive GPS, which did kind of present some problems. One of the main reasons that I'm replacing this is that this thing no longer charges, or it does for a couple seconds, and then it gets kind of shook around a bit and then it stops charging. I think most of the issue was that I originally had this mounted to my dash on my KLR, and that dash was not isolated at all, and that thing shook all over the place. It was a really hard buzz, so I think that's why this kind of got ruined. The other thing is, obviously it's a very old GPS, but there's no sort of protection for this thing, so if it starts to rain, I've got to rip this off the dash pretty quick. But to be honest, I mean, I just had this sitting around, just collecting dust, not doing anything, so that's why I gave it a try. It does have the card slot here, which I actually just recently got hooked up with VV Maps. If you guys haven't checked those out and you're in the Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan area, definitely check those out. Get yourself a cheap used GPS off of eBay and talk to them and get yourself a card to stick in here. It's absolutely amazing. I'll show it to you on the new GPS. It is so cool for snowmobile season and for motorcycle season, ATVs, even just driving around in a truck, knowing where all the public land is. It's super cool. So this is again with my old GPS. And I looked around on eBay a bit, and I wasn't exactly sure how big this one was, so I ended up ordering this one, which is maybe a little bit bigger than I needed. I think this is like 4-point-something inches, and this one is 6. So I'm honestly not sure how I'm ever going to fit this on the sled or the bike. I'm going to have to be doing some finagling, I think, with some mounts to be able to make this work and fit behind the windshields. But I'm pretty excited about this. I picked this up for $40 shipped to my house, and I think that's definitely the way that I would go. Obviously, you can pick up plenty expensive snowmobile and motorcycle GPSs that are meant for the outdoors, but for 40 bucks, you can't go wrong. You can get the trails on here super easy through VV Maps, and I mean, if this gets rained on and it gets ruined, I'm out 40 bucks. Not really a big deal. So right now I've got the ATV trail map turned off. So this is all just snowmobile trail, but how cool is that? Shows you every single trail. You can update it whenever things get changed. Super awesome. The GPSs actually will navigate on these trails. I don't know if there's a way to turn that on specifically to stick to trails or how exactly that works. I really haven't done it a whole lot. Usually I just kind of eyeball it and figure out where I'm going just by looking at the map. And I don't really do a whole lot of navigating with it, but that is an option. It will navigate on the trails, so super cool for snowmobile season. You don't have to carry a bunch of paper maps, especially if you're going from county to county. This is super nice, and I just absolutely love it. So make sure you check out VV Maps. I'll put a link down in the description for that. But I will definitely be able to see more than well enough where I'm going on this giant GPS. So this one is fairly new compared to my old GPS. This has got this kind of weird clip-in style mount where, where the other one had just a flat back and had a mount that clipped into the top and the bottom of it. So this one just clips out like this, and what I'm thinking I'm going to do is hopefully cut this off the back and then nip these corners off and fit that just right in here, since that is pretty flat and should adhere pretty well with the VHB tape. So, as you can see, fairly permanent stuff, pretty hard to get off. So there we go, it actually cleans up pretty nice. So this is not what this is for. Don't do this. But I lost my side cutters, so. Hey, if it works, right? You don't need every tool in the world, you just gotta be able to figure out how to use the ones you got. Alright, so this would probably be just fine, but I took a bit more off of here, I guess, than I meant to. I am, I think, 4 beers deep at this point, so you'll have to forgive me. I think maybe it'll be a good opportunity to show you exactly what I'm talking about, start to finish, though. So this is the back door for the GoPro, so you just snap the original one off, and then this gets kind of snapped on with that bar there, and then rather than mounting from the bottom of the GoPro, you can mount from the back here. So these really work pretty slick, but it's not a setup I'm using anymore anyways, and I think this was for like an original Hero, so I don't need these anymore. Definitely a good thing to repurpose it for. So basically what I'm going to do is trim this here and trim this here, and there's this little kind of spongy pad on the back that I'm going to have to pull off. So again, not the right tool here, but it will work. Obviously we've got a pretty big lip here that I'm going to want to trim off, but I'm going to trim as close to the edge of that as I can. I should probably go look for my side cutters. I'm sure I'll find them as soon as I'm done with this. So then we'll see, just a little bit more we need to nip off. Look at that. Perfect. So obviously once we get this stuck on here, we're not going to be able to use this anymore, but to be honest, I never really see myself using this. This is kind of nice in a vehicle. You can kind of swivel this around a bit on the ball that's supposed to go in here, but most of the time on a bike and a sled, you're just going to want it pointing straight at you anyways. And I actually do have a mount in my truck that will accept this. make sure you press this stuff on really good. So last time I did get away for a long time without doing 3 layers on here. I just did the 2 rows, which to be honest is probably going to be sufficient even for this GPS. But this thing is quite a bit bigger, so since I've got more than enough VHB tape here, I'm going to do just a little bit extra this time around. And for those of you that have action cameras, if this VHB logo on here looks familiar, that's because it is the same stuff that is on the back of GoPro mounts. And it is some good stuff. I really like that it squishes so it can kind of take up any imperfections on any of the stuff that you're sticking it on, which you might even be able to kind of see that outline of the section that had the foam on it before. And this will just kind of eat that right up, and it won't matter, it'll still stick good. So I'm gonna get that all stuck down good, clean this off really well. Have a swig of beer. Peel this off. Doesn't that sound nice? Probably can't hear it because of the dumb heater on. There we are. One more swig of beer. I'm just kidding, I don't have to be that precise. It's actually pretty good though. Kind of work that in there. Look at that. Like it was meant to be there. So now the rest is actually super easy. Anywhere that you can fit a GoPro mount, you can now mount your GPS to, which is, again, what I really like about doing it this way. So I've just got a handlebar mount up on my GPS bar, and this mount is actually meant to go on a pretty thick handlebar. So I've just got a piece of rubber kind of stuck on the inside of it, which, truth be told, does not work very well. If you guys have seen any of my off-road videos, or probably even any of the on-road videos, which there aren't many of those, this thing bounces all over the place. But to be honest, I'm not really too worried about it. I mean, it's not going to hurt this thing, I don't think, to be a little bit more isolated. Wouldn't recommend this necessarily, but I can put a link down in the description for it if you guys are interested in this mount. I do actually really like it. It's a great handlebar mount. Not bad at all. So obviously, like I said, it does move around a bit, especially with this big of a screen now. It's probably going to be a problem. That actually looks kind of goofy compared to my tiny little dash now, but whatever, it'll be nice for looking at the trails anyways. Definitely going to be good to have something this big when you're rocking down the gravel roads and only have a second to look down to see where you're going. One thing that I guess I'm a little bit concerned about is, I guess not. As I say, it sticks up above the windshield, but just barely doesn't. Maybe a hair. Looks pretty good on there. I do like how tight this is able to mount, doing it this way rather than a standard GPS mount. I guess I should mention I do also have another little bracket in here that maybe I can put a link in the description for. I probably can. I bet I've got one down there. But that helps kind of locate it a little bit better. And I like how tight this is in this way and how far down it is rather than sticking way off like some of the GPSs that you see on Teneres. So one more thing that I think I might do just to kind of preserve this GPS a little bit longer, even though, as I've said, I don't really care all that much about it. I think what I'll do is probably put some tape over here just to kind of keep that SD card out of the dust. I might actually do the same thing with the speaker. What do you guys think? I think that works pretty well. So for you snowmobile enthusiasts, let's pull this thing off of here and see how this works on the sled. So I think if I remember right, I actually mounted that GPS up to the sled before I ever had it mounted on the bike, I think. And that was actually before I ever had talked to VV Mapping and got their maps. And as much as it's nice to have their maps that show you where the trails are, what I really like about it, especially for motorcycle season, and I guess really for sled season too, especially if you want to do off-trail stuff, is it actually shows you all of the county land and it shows you where the borders are for that. It also shows managed forest land, which is just like absolutely invaluable information if you want to do any off-trail stuff on a sled, or if you want to do any sort of just kind of exploring when you're riding on a motorcycle. It's super nice to have that because you know when you're on those old logging roads and stuff that you're riding on public land and not private land, and it makes it super nice if you're new to an area to be able to find that public land. It's just absolutely invaluable, and I am so thankful for VV Mapping and everything that they do. They are an amazing group, and I'm so glad that they've got these maps available to us. So make sure you guys check them out down in the description. They are just absolutely awesome. I love it. So on the sled, I've just got your standard action camera mount, which is VHB taped right to the windshield, and I think the old one fit in there really well. This one, I'm thinking it's not gonna reach with a standard mount. I think I'll need something that'll make it stick off a little bit farther so I can actually aim it up on my face rather than down at the handlebars. So I think just to make this work, I'm actually gonna have to put this on kind of backwards compared to last year. There, whoa. I think that might work pretty well. Yeah, I think I like that. Can still access my buttons a little bit. It's gonna be a little hard to get this thing removed, I think. And again, this is gonna kind of bobble around a bit, but to be honest, I don't really care. It's actually kind of nice to have it isolated from the rest of the sled. Look at that. Look at all that county land up there. So yeah, this green is county, and then the light green is managed forest. You guys see any of that? And then all of your yellow lines outlined in red is snowmobile trail. Now if only we could get some snow. So obviously not the smoothest, cleanest installation, but I really like that I can switch back and forth between the bike pretty much just like that. Super easy to do. If I wanted to mount this to a handlebar at some point on, say, a bicycle or something, even in my truck or a different vehicle, all you gotta do is stick one of those GoPro mounts somewhere. It's just a super easy thing to do. You don't have to worry about the stupid suction cup or anything like that. I really like it. Obviously, using a automotive GPS on a snowmobile or a motorcycle is not the smartest thing to do. I would not recommend doing this for your brand new $300 GPS that you just got for Christmas. I would only do this with one that has been just kind of sitting in a drawer for years, or one that you bought off of eBay for 30, 40 bucks. There are plenty of them out there. Go check them out. I would just say either get something that has this mount like this, that has that nice flat space on the back for the VHB tape, or one that just has the entire back completely smooth and flat. There's a couple newer versions that have kind of a ribbed back that I think might work okay, but I definitely avoided those when I was purchasing this one, and I would say maybe that would be a good idea. I think the VHB tape, especially with the squishiness of it, probably would work okay. but that's going to be kind of up to you to figure that out if you're interested in doing that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you thought this was helpful, make sure and give it a like. Hey, why not share it on social media if you know somebody else that would maybe be interested in doing a setup like this. And if you guys are going to do this setup, make sure you let me know down in the comment box below how it works out for you and how you like it. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky. If you want to see a new video from me every weekend where I'm riding either the snowmobile or the motorcycle off-road, then make sure you hit the Swanky Cat button here, click the bell after you're subscribed, so it'll let you know anytime I put a video out. Otherwise, if you want to check out some more right now, then check them out over here. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out and enjoy this beautiful world. This is the awkward part, where you haven't clicked on a video yet, or hit the subscribe button. And I'm just standing here waiting. If you're still here, you should click on something. Otherwise, it's just going to play something random. Might be another one of my videos. Possibly. Hopefully.